Welcome to Audemars Pre-Owned Watches. My name is Richard. Today we're having an Audemars Piguet special. We'll be having a look at a couple of different Royal Oak iterations. Firstly, the Royal Oak 15202 Jumbo, which resembles the classic first reference the most. An offshore example that is nicknamed the Brick due to its platinum metal. A very recent example of the reinvented Royal Oak chronograph with its frosted finishing, and an old school day and date bicolor Royal Oak. The Royal Oak was originally introduced in 1972. Designed by the famous Gerald Genta, it was firstly introduced in a 39mm case, which for the time was actually huge. That's why it received the nickname Jumbo. The watch was way ahead of its time. People did not quite understand that a steel watch could have the same price as a solid gold example. But Audemars Piguet made sure the emphasis was put on the finishing of the case and the bracelet during the production of the watches. With its straight graining, or in French called trait tiré, which means all lines in one direction. The high-end edges, or chamfers if you will, give the watch an ultra-luxury feel. At the time of its release, it was groundbreaking. People thought the design was far too bold. The 15202 features the same two-handed ultra-thin movement as the original 1972 5402. Not a lot of people know that this is actually a Jaeger-LeCoultre base movement that Audemars Piguet used, modified and finished completely by hand. As for the Royal Oak Offshore, Audemars Piguet wanted to accommodate a new market, specifically a younger one. So in 1989 they asked designer Emmanuel Guit to revise the Royal Oak. It needed to be as groundbreaking as the 1972 original launch of the Royal Oak. And so in 1993 the Royal Oak Offshore was born. Again, the trend was not about large watches. Regular people would wear something around 35 to 39mm. The Offshore was the first truly oversized luxury watch of its time. Nicknamed the Beast, the first Royal Oak Offshore featured a chronograph function. The Offshore we're viewing today is not the original, but a later example. This one is completely produced in platinum. The nickname the Brick is of course due to its weight, since the case and bracelet are made of platinum. Yet again, the Royal Oak was ahead of its time. While still retaining the hand-finished case and bracelet, it featured industrial looks due to its size, the materials used, and its looks. With over 200 different offshore references, it's safe to say the Offshore is here to stay as well. Just like with the Offshore, the regular Royal Oak line featured many different complications as well. Today we're having a day and date and moon phase example, produced in bicolor metal, yellow gold and stainless steel. On the other end of the spectrum, a more recent example of the Royal Oak chronograph. Here we see one featured a frosting finish. This is an incredibly time-consuming finishing that's done by hand. This is the first time that Audemars Piguet is combining conventional finishing with a newer frosted technique of the modern era. The frosted bezel, case and bracelet is created via a technique with a sharp, diamond-tipped tool, creating tiny dimples that create a beautiful surface. All of Audemars Piguet's movements are finished to an incredibly high standard, with different finishing techniques ranging from Côte de Genève, perlage, anglage, highly polished countersinks, and a beautifully finished rotor. All finished by hand, of course. That was it for this week's video. If you like this video, please subscribe and like. If you had the chance to pick out one of these beauties, which one would you take? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and until the next video.